Good morning, everyone, and welcome to this Interreg Northwest Europe webinar. Thank you for joining us online this morning, and please note that this webinar is being recorded. Today's event is about our second call for capitalization, and we are pleased to see so much interest in this call with over 200 registrations for our event today. We'll be together for an hour and a half, so about until 11:30. Alexandre and Caroline from the Joint Secretariat and our network of contact points will explain what the program is looking for in this call and detail the reference call documents. We also have two speakers with us today from successful projects in the first call for capitalization, Anna and Steph, who will share their experience with you. I'm sure that their testimony will be a great source of inspiration, as many of you are likely considering applying for this call and with us today. Throughout this webinar, we would like to encourage you to interact with us using the questions and polls tabs that you can see right now on the right of your screen. So that we get used to this tool, we are going to start with a poll, which is now showing again on the right part of your screen, with the following question: do you intend to apply for the call for capitalization or take part in a capitalization initiative proposal? And you have three possible answers: yes, no, or unsure. You can now start voting, and we will leave you a few seconds to do that, and then I will look at the results and comment them for a little bit. Okay, so a few more seconds. So we have an overview of the numbers. Okay, so a majority of you are considering applying for this call, but we also see that a lot of people are not so sure yet. So this is a good thing we're doing this event, because our objective really is to help you in your application process and take you through the steps that you need to take in order to submit. So you can ask questions throughout the webinar, again, using the right side of your screen. You have a questions tab right next to the polls one that we have just used. And you can also like other people's questions if you find them relevant. So do not hesitate to do so. Thank you also to those of you who have sent their questions when registering for the event. We had many interesting ones. And our speakers will answer the questions in the presentation, but also orally during our two question and answer sessions today. We also have two moderators today with us. Thank you, Sarine and Vinicius. And they will provide written live answers to the questions you will send through our tool. Please, although do bear with us if we cannot answer them all before 11:30, as some questions might be specific to your project, but we will collect them all and we will make sure that you get the support you need through your contact point. So after these few words of introduction, I would like to hand over to our program director, Mathieu Maury, for a welcome message. Mathieu, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Perrine. And I'd like to start by saying that you'll see that Perrine is the real professional here, since before the lockdown, she thought of taking a roll-up, an Interreg Northwest Europe roll-up with her, which I didn't. So you are stuck with this white background and this painting behind me, the added value of which is seriously questionable, so I apologize for that. I'm Mathieu Maury. I'm the new program director at Interreg Northwest Europe. Some of you will know my predecessor, Ruth, and I'm here now since the beginning of September. It is in that new capacity that I can say it's my pleasure, on behalf of the Interreg Northwest Europe program, to welcome so many of you today to this webinar dedicated to our second call for capitalization. This call will be the last one for the 2014-2020 programming period. Our first 9 regular calls and 1 targeted call have enabled us to support 102 projects for a total of 376 million euros. Most of these projects are now well underway and some are even finalized. This is why, in parallel to the ongoing intense project implementation phase, the Northwest Europe program has launched an ambitious capitalization strategy aiming to maximize the impact of project results achieved up to now. Among the different tools and activities developed to reach this objective, Member States have decided to launch this second call for capitalization with the aim to give further support to projects that can demonstrate tangible results, projects that have shown the relevance of their consortium, projects that have a clear impact on cohesion policy and the reduction of disparities in Northwest Europe. Encouraged by the success of the first call for capitalization, we want as many successful projects as possible to maximize their impact. Hence the larger budget dedicated to this call compared to the first one, and the wide-ranging terms of reference. Now, I know that many of you are partners in these 102 projects currently funded by the Interreg Northwest Europe program. I therefore take this opportunity to make it clear that one of our current priorities is to mitigate the potential impact of the COVID pandemic on your projects. Our project team is here to help you in that respect. Flexibility is the rule, so should you encounter difficulties linked to the pandemic, please reach out to us and we will help. Another worry for some of you is the Brexit. I want again to reassure you that if you are a UK partner, or if you have a UK partner in your consortium, their participation is confirmed until the end of the project life. The same goes for this call for capitalization. The United Kingdom is a full member of the current program. UK partners are therefore welcome to take part in this call for capitalization with the same privileges and duties as partners from the other Interreg Northwest Europe member states. Finally, I would like to say a few words about the next programming period, 2021-2027. Despite the United Kingdom and Switzerland leaving the program, the key characteristics of the area covered will not change. Interreg Northwest Europe will continue to cover a highly urbanized and populated area and a wealthy area where disparities remain high. The DNA of the program will therefore remain to fight those disparities. Which policy objectives will be used to achieve that goal is currently being discussed by the program's member states. A public consultation will take place based on the priorities pre-selected by the member states. This consultation is expected to happen by the end of 2020 or early 2021. We aim at having our first call for projects launched at the end of 2021 or early 2022. Regular updates about the future Northwest Europe program can be found on our website and will be flagged up via our social media, Twitter and LinkedIn. I will stop here and let my colleagues go through the details of the capitalization call. Again, I would like to thank you very much for your interest in Interreg Northwest Europe, and I hope you will find in this call for capitalization an extra resource to promote the results of your projects for the greater good of our territory. Thank you very much, and Perrine, back to you.
Thank you very much, Mathieu, for setting the context in which we have developed the second call for capitalization. Let's now dive into the main features of the call. And for this, I'll give the floor to Alexandre to present us what we are looking for in this call. Alexandre, over to you.
Yes, thank you, Perrine, for the introduction, and hello, everyone. I'm happy to be here and to have this opportunity to present in more detail what we're expecting for this capitalization call. I have a short PowerPoint, which I'm going to share right now. There we go. And before I dive into the topic and tell you more about the framework we're proposing for this second call for capitalization, I just wanted to give a little reminder on where we're coming from and what brought us to develop such an initiative. I also know that we have made a very broad invitation for this webinar. Most of the people that are listening are probably from projects which are approved, but it is possible that some of you know less about our program or are not from our program area. So here's the map, the 8 NWE countries. As a reminder, I also want to remind that we have a 60% co-funding rate, which will continue to apply for this capitalization call. And just to point out a little bit, as Mathieu said, that our program is to some extent at a turning point right now, since we have allocated pretty much all of our budget, the 376 million ERDF, to support 102 different projects. And we are now turning to a new phase of our program until 2023, which is the official end for all projects. This end of program period will be dedicated to two things: ensuring the good implementation of projects which have been approved, these 102 projects, but at the same time, we also want to be sure that the results of the projects are sustained in time. And that is one of the main reasons, one of the strongest rationale, which brought us to develop a capitalization strategy aimed at maximizing the impact of these projects in the most concrete and tangible way. For that, we have developed a wide range of tools, but obviously the two capitalization calls that we are organizing are some of the main tools that we have developed to maximize the impact of project results. So we hope to see existing projects through these capitalization calls do this in two different ways: through the increase and the uptake, through increasing the uptake and rollout of project results beyond what was initially planned. In that sense, we mean that we hope to see projects develop some new activities that were not included in the initial action plan, in the initial application form. And second of all, we also hope to see projects address through this call unforeseen benefits or new opportunities. We know that project lifetime is rather long, at least 3 years in most cases, and it is not a path where everything can be planned in advance or anticipated. The COVID situation is a good reminder of this, if I may say. In some cases, during the project lifecycle, some new opportunities emerge, policy context has evolved, some new technologies might emerge and offer also new opportunities. And to this extent, the CapCall aims at offering some flexibility to projects to engage in these new activities. So before I go into the second call for capitalization, I also wanted to give a little reminder on what happened in the first call, a few key figures which will give you an idea of how it went. From the start, we had planned to have two different calls for capitalization. The first one was open from calls 1 to 4, meaning that only 40 projects were eligible to apply for this call. And the second one was supposed to apply only from calls 5 to 9, but I'll get back to that a little bit later. Out of these 40 projects that could apply, we have received 15 applications, which is rather, which pretty much corresponds to what we were expecting. We received 8 proposals, which were, 8 proposals were approved by the MC, which is a 53% success rate, which is very high, which shows also that the concept was well understood by applicants. We had, considering the program situation at the time allocated a relatively low budget, 4.5 million, which was almost fully allocated. So for this second call for capitalization, we have made some changes based mostly on the feedback that we got from applicants and from what we saw of how things went. The first one is that we have opened the call. We are opening the call for a longer period. As you know, the call opened more than 2 weeks ago now, on the 12th of October. It will close on the 29th of January, giving you more than 3.5 months to work on your application. Of course, get in contact with your contact points to work on this application, and with the advantage of not having a deadline which comes right after Christmas, as was the case for the first call. The second big change is that our monitoring committee decided to open the second call much wider than initially planned. It was initially planned only for calls 5 to 9. In the end, looking at the feedback we got from applicants in the first call, where many of them were telling us, we do not feel ready, we don't feel we have enough time to prepare, the monitoring committee decided to make to open this call much wider to all projects, actually to all projects except the ones that have been approved in the first call. So that includes both running and closed projects from all 3 priorities. It also includes projects that were rejected in the first call for capitalization, or projects that were declared ineligible in this first call. In total, that means that 92 projects out of the 102 are eligible to make an application for this second call. And last but not least, the budget. You have certainly noticed that it is much higher than the previous one. 26 million ERDF are available. This is based on the successful outcome of the first call, on the continued strong will of the program to push this result orientation that manifests itself through this capitalization strategy. And of course, it is also the result of the budget still available within our program. So what do we expect in the framework of these capitalization calls? Most of what I'm going to present here is in the terms of reference, and I would really insist on inviting you to look at these terms of reference to see what's in there. Most of the information is very well detailed over there. But I will insist on 4 aspects that your capitalization initiative should take into account. The first one is that the capitalization initiative should be based on a successful project. So what do we mean by successful project? We mean a project whose spending as well as content delivery is well aligned with the project application, the initial project application form. So it does not mean that all objectives and results have to be met. We know that some projects have been launched much more recently than others, but at least that the project has started well, is running well, and according to plans up to now. If that is the case, most of the time, we can hope that the project running well will have some solid results, or at least some first results to showcase, and can therefore propose a CAP initiative that builds on these results, whether they are foreseen or unforeseen. The third important aspect that the CAP initiative should take into account is that it needs to propose some new activities. This capitalization call is really an opportunity to propose new activities, new elements. It should therefore not be the long-term effects of a project. It should happen independently of all the activities that a project is currently leading or has led if the project is closed. It should not be the continuation of an existing project. It should propose, as I said, something new. Last but not least, and in line with the general rationale of our program, the CAP initiatives should continue to contribute to reducing territorial disparities. This can be done in 3 different ways. It's by addressing territories that either have not yet been covered by the initial project, are lagging behind in the area, or are less developed. So based on all of that and taking all of these elements into account, the capitalization initiatives can take 3 different directions. Projects can be project results can be extended towards, first of all, new geographical areas within Northwest Europe. So for example, a project that has successfully implemented some energy retrofitting solutions in the housing sector in 3 different countries, for example, Germany, Belgium, and Netherlands, can, through the capitalization call, propose to replicate it to other Northwest European countries, specifically targeting less developed regions or deprived urban areas, for example. Another direction is to have project results extended to new type of target groups or new type of stakeholders. So sticking to this example of the housing sector, we could have a project that has successfully implemented energy retrofitting solutions in the private housing sector and will, through the capitalization call, propose to extend it to the social housing sector, so addressing this new target group. Third direction is to have the CAP initiative address a new economic sector. So, for example, that would be a project that has developed a technology for the space industry, which through the capitalization call will use it in a design for another sector, for example, the drone sector. What's important to keep in mind in these three main directions is that the CAP initiative does not have to cover all 3 directions. Only one is enough, but it has to show that it will clearly impact in one of these areas. Last but not least, you will see in the terms of reference, we have added a specific opening to projects that are addressing the COVID crisis. We know, of course, that it is a big preoccupation for many of you. Here, the idea is to say that if a project has developed some results that can be extended in an area that will able to address any challenge related to the COVID crisis, they are very welcome to make a proposal within this capitalization call, even if it does not fully and directly correspond to these 3 main directions I just described. So this is a little exception that we are making for projects that will be proposing actions related to the COVID crisis. Then moving on to the partnership. The partnership, there's really one key concept here, is that we would like partnerships to be tailored to the proposed initiative. This is why we have given the possibility within this capitalization call for projects to modify their partnership for the capitalization activities. Partners can be added to the consortium. Partners can also choose not to participate. The most important is really to have a consortium of partners which all have a role, which are all active, and which are ready to work rather quickly, since the timeline will be short. The capitalization initiative will have to be closed with the project at the latest in end of 2023. This also offers the possibility to integrate partners from other projects within Northwest Europe program, or from projects from other programs for other programs, for example, the North Sea program, the Atlantic program, which might be overlapping with our territory. It's an opportunity to, by involving new partners, it's an opportunity to create synergies. And we really want you to, if it is relevant, of course, to seize this opportunity to create these cross-border, cross-program collaborations that are always interesting, because we know that many programs are addressing similar topics and similar themes. But I mean, don't get me wrong, the main idea here, although I am saying that it is an opportunity to involve new partners, the main idea is really to keep the partnership relevant, focused, and easy to manage, because, as I said, time will be rather limited to lead the action and activities that you propose. Finally, the assessment criteria, there's 7 of them which are listed in the terms of reference, linked to eligibility, the context, objective, territorial relevance, partnership and cooperation, value for money, and finally results. They are rather straightforward and clearly described in terms of reference, so I'm not going to come back on them in detail. What I want to insist on is just that they are not weighted, meaning that none of them are more important in percentage, let's say, in the assessment scoring, but all need to be answered positively. It's really a checklist of yes or no. And in order to make things as straightforward as possible, you will also see that in our application form, all the questions follow these assessment criteria really precisely. So normally, when you fill in the application form, answering all the questions one by one, you will quickly see if your capitalization initiative idea corresponds to what we are expecting or not. So there, I have covered most of what is included in the terms of reference. I'll stop here, and further details, slightly more technical, will be given by Caroline, and I will then be available to answer questions you may have. So thank you for your attention, and I am giving back the floor to Perrine.
Thank you very much, Alexandre, for explaining what the program expects from capitalization initiative proposals. Caroline will indeed now take over and tell you more about how to draft and submit a successful application. Caroline, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Perrine. Good morning, everyone. I'm Caroline, contact point for France. We will go to the details of the application form, so do not hesitate to ask any question either online or later on to your contact point, because I'm sure there will be some elements that will not be 100% crystal clear. So I will share with you my screen so that we can go together through the presentation. So here we go. Okay, so to begin with the general context, the capital initiative, administratively speaking, is an extension of the project, which means there will be no new name or new number. It's a part of the project. So the end date of your project will be now the new end date of the capitalization initiative. You can go up to end of December 2023 at the latest. You cannot go further after this date. Concerning closed projects, they will be reopened to allow them to have a capital initiative, and the co-funding rate will be the same as a normal project, up to 60%. The capital initiative is considered as a new work package, which is really based on the results you have achieved or you are going to achieve of your actual project. It's a new work package, and you will put in it every activity that will be related to achieve these new results, which means if you have management cost, communication cost, whatever cost, investment, you put everything in this special work package, because it's a global entity and everything will be put in it. Concerning investment, if you plan to have investment, it's really possible. There's a specific annex to fill within the capital initiative work package. Concerning the partnership, Alexandre already gave some details about partnership. To go further with the partnership, you have to keep in mind that it's the same project. The capital initiative is a work package that will be added to your project. So the lead partner of the project has to remain the same. You cannot change of lead partner, but the work package leader can be another partner. You probably already have the case in your project that the lead partner is not the work package leader of every work package. So you can choose to have another leader of this work package, but you have to keep the lead partner for this work package. There's some partner that can choose not to participate. There can be several reasons for this. For instance, if you choose to go to a capital initiative on a new economic area, economic theme, and one of your partner is not interested by this theme, it's not his core business, he can choose not to join the capital initiative. So it's really up to each and every partner to ask themselves, do they wish to be involved in this capital initiative, and will they bring something relevant and consistent to achieve results? Considering the partnership, there can be only partner or associated partners. There will not be the possibility to have sub-partners like in our actual project. So for those who are not really familiar with Northwest Europe program, this category of partners can be explained later on, but only fully involved partners can be within the work package capital initiative. As Alexandre said, we are looking for work package initiatives that are going further to what you actually plan to achieve. It will be new results that can be in the direction of adding new stakeholders, new target audience, new economic area, or new geographical area. And to reach these results, perhaps in your actual partnership, you don't have the competencies to achieve this result. So you will have to look for new partners. Perhaps you already know some, but contact points are really there to help you and find these new partners that can join this initiative to help you to reach the new results you want to achieve. What's important, what Alexandre already said, that all partners in the capital initiative should be fully justified. Everyone should have a precise role, and each role will contribute to achieve the results you are looking to attain. There will be also the need to quantify the results, either in value or in volume. So we have the idea of what you want to achieve and in which extent. And this result must go further the initial project results. I know we are, it's at least the third time we're saying this during this webinar, but it's really, really important that it go further what we have already planned. Otherwise, it would not be considered as a new initiative, but more as something that should have been done within your actual project. To measure your result, there will be some indicators to choose, and you will have to choose at least one of your project's priority indicator. It's not, you do not have to choose the compulsory indicator of your priority, but you can choose one of the list of the indicator. To be more precise, because indicators is always a tricky thing, here's a list of all the indicators of priority 3, resource and materials efficiency. The one in bold, number of enterprises receiving support, is normally the compulsory indicator for project choosing priority 3. For your capital initiative, you are not obliged to choose this indicator. You can choose one of this list as long as it describes the results you want to achieve. Concerning the budget, it's a very frequent question we have as a contact point. We've been asked what is the better average amount to put in the application form. Well, there's no answer because there's no directive, there's no recommendation from the program. There's a global envelope of 26 million euro ERDF, and you are the one that know exactly what you need to achieve your results. You are going to develop and detail the activities you want to plan, the team you want to gather to achieve the results, and the timeline you need. So you are the one that know exactly perfectly what you need for money to achieve the results. Keep in mind that value for money is really important, so it should be coherent between what you ask for money and the results you want to achieve. But you are the one that know exactly what you need as a budget. So there's no average amount to be recommended. The details that will be asked for your budget within the application form is the total budget of the capitalization work package, a breakdown per partner, and a breakdown per budget line, which means staff costs, travel expenses, external expertise, infrastructure and work, and so on, but no detail by activities. Concerning the submission of the application form, the latest you can send your document is Friday, 29 January at noon. This is really, really important to anticipate a bit, because when you will send a mail to send your application form, you will receive a message confirming that your application form has been correctly submitted. If you do not receive this message on time, your application form will not be considered. So it's really important to anticipate. There's still some months to go to this date, so we are here with the contact point to help you to reach the delay and to anticipate, to be sure that if you want to apply, you will be on time, because there's nothing worse than sending one's application form 5-10 minutes after the due time. The document is not an online document, it's a Word document you will have to fill, and the lead partner will have to send it to this address in the GS. Once the document will be received, there will be an evaluation made by the GS on this application form. And then in March, every member state will gather in a monitoring committee to evaluate your project and to approve the next capitalization initiatives. So to get support and to help you to develop your project, you have, of course, all the information and of this capital initiative on the Northwest Europe website. So every document to fill in and every terms of reference are on the website. The network of contact points are dedicated to you to help you developing this initiative. All our contact details are on the website, so you can join us by phone, by mail, whatever, but do not hesitate. We are really here to help you with this call. And there's also a dedicated LinkedIn group that has been created. You will have the address, so you can ask to enter this group. And the idea of this group is to share ideas and find partners. So it's really a place where you can discuss and develop also your ideas. I hope this was not too many information. If you have any question, yes, feel free to ask them now or later on. And all the contact point team is here to help you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Caroline, for going into the detail of the call documents and what are the program expectations for this call. I see, and I was told that you've been very, very active by sending a lot of questions. Thank you for that. Thank you for your interest. So now we are going to go into a Q&A session, during which our speakers, so Caroline and Alexandre, they'll answer some of the questions, and I will read them out to them first. So if I could have on the screen a question showing up. Our moderators, they've also been given written answers, so please do read them, as they will help you. I do not see a question being highlighted at the moment, but I will find one right now. Oh, I will find one right now to ask you. Please bear with us for a moment. Oh, there was one appearing on the screen and then it went. It's okay, it's okay. We have one here. Will capitalization projects be an extra work package on existing Northwest Europe projects? Maybe Caroline, you wanna answer this one, as this is something you mentioned in your presentation?
Yes, of course. Yes, exactly. It's an extra work package that will be added to your project. When the capitalization initiative will be approved, then the new work package will be uploaded in your project.
Yeah. And I could add that projects that are approved will have 2 months to upload this new work package in the EMS. So add it in their existing application form on the EMS.
Okay, thank you for this answer. I think that's quite straightforward for everyone. We have another question on how can new partners be involved in capitalization projects, and what are the conditions for these new partners to join an initiative? Maybe Alexandre, if you want to take this one first.
Yeah, sure. As I think we both said, Caroline and myself, new partners are welcome. That is one of the possibilities that we offer in these capitalization calls. There's no specific condition. The main condition is that these new partners need to be either a project partner or associated partner. They need to be added in the application form. There's a specific form to be filled in to describe who they are and what they will actually do. This is not a condition, but as we said, what is going to be important is just to justify clearly why these new partners are necessary to reach the objectives or to fulfill the activities that are planned within the capitalization project. Actually, in the end, I think that is the main condition that we can talk about. But these new partners can come from the Northwest Europe area. They can come also from outside the Northwest Europe area. And as I also said, it is of interest to us if these new partners also bring in some cross-program collaboration within this whole scheme.
Thank you, Alexandre. So we have a question which came up from Michel, sorry for the pronunciation if that's not right, Van Gumpel. So he asked, can new problem identify, I quote, also be seen as a new direction apart from new geographical area, new stakeholders or target groups, and new economic sector? Alexandre, you want maybe to start on this one, and then if Caroline has anything to add, she can take the floor after you're done speaking.
Yep, sure, but I didn't hear what you said. What new area are we talking about?
The question is about, so it wouldn't go into one of the three directions, but it would be seen as a new problem identified.
Okay, so I mean, if I understand, well, if a project does not, I think the rule is really to go and to go into one of these three directions that we described: new geographical area, new economic sector, or identifying a new type of stakeholders towards which the project's results can be extended. And in our view, this is quite wide. If you put all three together, that covers a wide range of possibilities. So even I was mentioning, for example, the opening to COVID. Even in that case, for a COVID-related activity, there are great chances that it will go into one of these three directions in any case, even if it does not do it on purpose, if I may say. So, but yes, to answer in a straightforward way, yes, all projects, it is one of our assessment criteria, will have to go into one of these three directions.
Okay, thank you for the answer, Alexandre. So we have another question from Giuseppe, who is asking about end dates. So I'm going to read the question now for you to know. So if a project ends in January 2023 and a new work package, capitalization 1, is proposed with some different partners, what happens to the existing work packages? Are they extended as well? Or does that mean that in the extended period, only the capitalization work package will be active with only the project partners participating to it? Caroline, maybe you want to answer Giuseppe on this?
Okay. So it's not an extension of the actual project. It's the work package will go through. Will have another end date. So the end project will have another end date. But if your work package was supposed to finish on the 1st February 2023, it should finish at this date. If you need extension for your activities, it's something you will have to discuss with your officer in the JS. But it's not because you add a new work package, then every work package you have in your project will length up to this end date. So if you need more time, extend time, you have to discuss with your officer. Otherwise, you keep the rhythm that were planned at the beginning.
Okay, thank you, Caroline. There was a question on the chat about the recording of the webinar. Yes, the video will be accessible, the recording will be accessible. Some of you accessed the event late, that's no problem. We will send you the link and you will also be able to find it on our website. So I hope that clarifies. We have a question from Oliver Ragg, which is the following one. Can one capitalization project support multiple projects, or is it limited to just one? Alexandre, do you want to give Oliver an answer?
Yeah. So can one project support multiple projects? I'm not sure what this really means. If it means can a multitude of activities be included in the work package capitalization? The answer is yes. I mean, obviously we have a preference for having something which is as coherent as possible, even if there's different activities which are planned. If the idea is to have a voucher scheme within the capitalization work package, that is also possible, and the same rules as the ones for a normal project, a regular project, will be applying in that case.
Okay. One more question about work packages from Marta Popova. Maybe we can have Caroline answer that one. Are we limited to only one work packages? And how many activities could we have within this work package?
Well, I think I will say the same that Alexandre. It's only one work package you can add, and you can have several activities in this work package, but please be coherent the most possible. You have to choose one target and with some impact to achieve. So the most coherent you are, the most impact you will have. So do not try to have several activities that are very different. If they do not reach, do not participate to reach the same impact. And perhaps we will have the question later, but we do not expect several applications for CAP initiative from the same project. Just work with your contact point and try to really focus on the capitalization initiative that will have the most important impact, and really focus on this one to work it really good. And yes, try to be the most focused as possible.
Okay. One question from Daniel Zerwick. If an application addresses COVID, do you still need to go for one of the three main directions? Alexandre, that's something you mentioned in your presentation. Maybe you can give a few more detail on this.
Yes, as I said, it's a little exception that we are offering for concerning this crisis. If a project wants to develop some activities which are COVID related or which tackle the COVID challenges, they can choose not to go into one of the three directions. Although, as I said, I think these three directions that we are describing are quite wide, and I don't see so many cases of situations where an activity would not go into one of these three directions. But if that is the case, it is possible. It is really the only exception that we are making. Nevertheless, I have to say that even for these proposals that will be tackling COVID-related topics and proposing COVID-related activities, the same assessment criteria will apply. So do pay attention to these assessment criteria and be sure to stick as closely as possible to what we are asking within these criteria, aside from these three directions.
Okay, thank you, Alexandre. We have a question from Siavash Namari. Since our lead partner probably cannot continue for capitalization, can we change the lead partner? Caroline, maybe you can clarify this point?
Yes, normally, no, it won't be possible because the lead partner of the project must stay the lead partner of the capital initiative. Even if he's not he can choose not to be the lead partner of the work package, and be not that much involved in the capital initiative, but still it will have all the administrative and finance reporting to do. So it will be the same. And we want to be clear, there's still some work to do as lead partner, but sorry, if the lead partner is not okay to go for it, it will be really a problem.
Yeah, I would add, as Caroline was saying, administratively speaking, we are really, I mean, the CAP initiative is an extension of an existing project. So you need to stick with the same lead partner. You need to remain within the same priority, and so on.
Okay, thank you. We're going to take one more question, and then we'll move to our project testimonies, and then we'll come back with some more question for you too. So a last one that maybe Alexandre can give some indication about. It's from Claudia, and she is asking if the project ends in March 2021, and if there is some unspent budget, is it possible to transfer unspent budget from the initial project into the new capitalization work package?
No, we can't. You really have to see this capitalization call and initiative as a whole as something really separate. Even if administratively speaking, as I said, it's an extension of the existing project. Apart from that, it really has to be seen separately. So we can't switch a budget from the existing project to the capitalization project. When you answer the capitalization call, you will have to propose a budget. This has to be really in line with the activities that are planned within the capitalization call. And this work package needs to be, let's say, comprehensive and with the activities and the budget, which are fully in line. If ever there is unspent budget in your initial project, in that case, this is something that you must discuss with your project officer to see how to manage that. Same thing if you need a time extension, for example. So the two things really need to be treated separately. The capitalization work package, the capitalization initiative and its budget on one side, and the budget that you are managing in the initial project.
Okay, thank you, Caroline and Alexandre for answering those questions. We are now going to go into our two projects testimonies. And we will start with Steph from UV Robots, which is a project under our innovation priority, and he will share his experience in the first call for capitalization. Steph, the floor is yours.
Good morning. I will start sharing my screen. Okay, I'm Steph Laurijse. I'm the project manager of the UV Robot project. The aim of this project is to develop innovative UV robotics to improve the existing IBM strategies in horticultural crops. So the initial project, so the UV robot project, has three main objectives. The first objective is to control mildew with UVC light, ultraviolet light, in 5 crops, namely tomato, strawberry, cucumber, lettuce, and basil. Mildew is one of the most important diseases in horticultural crops. And nowadays, the farmers, the growers, use chemicals to control mildew. But in the UV robot project, we aim to find a new alternative, a physical way of controlling mildew, namely with UVC. UVC light has a very high energy level. And with this very high energy level, we could destroy the DNA of the mildew. So we want to reduce the use of chemicals in horticulture. But and at the end of the project, we will demonstrate our newly developed UVC strategies in the Northwest European territory. The UVC applications will be done with autonomous robots, so robots that drive to the crops in the greenhouse, fully autonomous. In the beginning of 2020, we wrote a capitalization initiative, extra work package. And this extra work package is building on the use of the autonomous robots we developed in the initial project. And we will focus on 3 crops, namely strawberry, tomato, and cucumber, because we saw in the original project that these are the most promising. These crops gave the most promising results, and the UVC strategies in these crops are the most close to a more commercial use in the greenhouses. Next to this, we focus on some extra promising side effects of UVC to other common pests and diseases. What ways does your capitalization initiative support rollout and uptake? So we introduced our newly developed UVC strategies to a new target group, namely the strawberry plant breeders. In the initial UV robot project, we focus on the production of strawberries, but to produce strawberries, you have to have good plants, and these plants are also susceptible to mildew. So we in the capitalization initiative, we focus on the breeding part of the strawberry plants, but also on the strawberry production. Just so we will reduce the chemical treatments in strawberry as well. Next to this, we will introduce our strategies to some new geographical areas like the Netherlands, Germany, and France. And we will increase the potential of the robot to other diseases and pests. So next to mildew, we will also focus on botrytis, tomato russet mites, and spider mites. These are 3 of the main pests and diseases in horticultural crops. Then we will also exchange experiences and knowledge with another project, namely OED UV. This is a French project, also focusing on mildew control with UVC. So we will exchange experience with this project. And we adapted our partnership for the extra work package to focus on the 3 crops, tomato, cucumber, and strawberry, on which mildew control is the most successful. Next to this, we increase the impact in Northwest Europe by introducing 5 new partners in the project. 4 of them are located in the Netherlands. The Netherlands is very important in horticultural production. And next to this, we also introduce 1 French partner to exchange the knowledge from the UV robot project with the other projects. It's very important that a close collaboration is very important in this extra work package, because we want to introduce our newly developed UVC strategies to the growers and the farmers. Then which results are you expecting from the capitalization initiative? So we want to develop an UVC strategy to control mildew in strawberry as well. So nowadays, 40% of all the active ingredients, the residues find on strawberries, fruits, are come from mildew spraying. So the aim of the project is to reduce this to 0 or 10% of the active ingredients. Then next to this, we enlarge our demonstration area by introducing our strategies in the Netherlands. We have an increase of 660 potential new growers. And in France and Germany, we also increase the amount of hectares we possibly could treat with UVC light. Then we will reduce the chemical input by 30 to 50% in each crop. Then to end with, I will give some hints and tips or points of attention for applicants. So start on time. This writing a project is very time intensive. You better start at time. Then get in contact with the national contact points. So every country has some contact points to help you. They will help you during the capitalization initiative development. And if you have questions about the application form, they will give tips and tricks and also highlight you the most important criteria for the application. And keep in mind, the aim of this call is increasing impact of the project results. So go further, build further on the results you already have made in the original project. Okay, this was the UV Robot project. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask them afterwards.
Thank you very much, Steph, for this clear and focused presentation on how UV Robot answered the first call for capitalization. We will now hear from one of our projects under a low carbon priority, that is cVPP. And I will give the floor to Hannah to present how the cVPP project answered the first call for capitalization.
Yes, thank you very much. Good morning, everyone. I will share my screen with you. Okay. My name is Anna Wieczorek. I'm an expert in sustainability transitions. I work at the Eindhoven University of Technology. And being an academic, I usually study other radical innovations and their impact on larger scale. And in this project, I have a great pleasure to set up on radical innovation in practice, which is a community-based virtual power plant. And an objective of this particular project is to accelerate decarbonization and democratization of the energy system by empowering smart prosumers. And community-based virtual power plant, you can see it as a social technical innovation, technical because it is facilitated by an ICT platform that connects distributed energy resources, demand response generation, storage, if you like, to act together as one power plant. But because it is done in such a way that empowers communities and it does what the communities want, it is also a social innovation. So we call it a social technical innovation. And it differs from all that is now in the market, from traditional virtual power plants that are set mainly by grid operators to deal with technical problems in the grid, with the increased amounts of renewables in the system and energy being electricity being such a medium that has to be matched in the real time. Yeah, when you have such intermittent inflow of renewables, then grid operators have a problem, and they set up virtual power plants as a way to aggregate flexibility and production of electricity and deal with those problems. But they don't take into account the prosumer and the interests of the prosumers and the communities. So in this project, we flip it around and we are trying to develop a concept that is not only working for the system at large, but also and predominantly empowers the prosumers. So in this project, we jointly developed a concept of community-based virtual power plant. It did not exist, it's something new. Because we are working in a practice academic environment, then everything, we are sort of feeding each other. So everything we are doing in practice is informed by theory and the other way around. So we are also publishing interesting articles and spreading words to the research community. Once the concept was set up, we have started testing it, and we tested it in 3 different locations, 3 different communities in different territories that have their own socio-economic, regulatory dynamics. And we learned from each other. We have improved the concept, and to spread it around, we have also developed a mobilization and replication model. This model has also been developed in a very iterative process because we wanted other communities who are interested in doing more with what they are already doing to take another step. And cVPP is such an innovation that allows them to do that. And we have also sort of in parallel test and develop this model by coaching 9 other follower communities in thinking about, okay, what are their energy problems, and is cVPP something that can help them move ahead? So in the capitalization initiative, we would like to step further. We would like to move away from replication, so doing more of the same, although this is still a very relevant aspect of the project, towards upscaling. And upscaling is about enlarging the scale, getting critical mass. And in this case, again, we want to look at the social technical upscaling. So we have 3 investments, 3 operating cVPPs, but we would like to further develop the technology. And also, when you add new target groups and new territories, when new communities join, also the business model of the community virtual power plant is changing. So that's the essence of the socio-technical upscaling, and it's the upscaling is with new target groups. We have added small, medium enterprises, local industries like a paper mill in a village, rental sector, housing cooperatives. They have not been part of the current project, but they will be joining us in the capitalization initiative. We are also upscaling in a territorial sense. So we are going for other areas in the same countries. Because of the essence of this project, it makes sense to take little steps. So we are expanding with new communities. And here we collaborate with another Interreg Northwest Europe project, ECCO, which objective is to help groups of people, communities gain critical mass and organize themselves, initiate the process. So it made really a lot of sense for us to connect with them, because they work with 50 such communities, and see to what extent cVPP is an interesting concept for them. And we were already in touch before the capitalization, and we were discussing collaborations anyway, so it was a very natural way to sort of move on together. We also plan to upgrade the mobilization and replication model. Of course, all these upscaling will yield new interesting insights. And also, as you know, the winter package is being translated right now into the regulatory context of each country, which will also make some things more possible and other things a bit less. In terms of partnership, we have kept the core group. because we have gained quite an interest, it's quite a critical mass with these people. They know what they are doing. We have sort of developed practices, but we have, as I mentioned, started collaboration with the ECHO project, and specifically we have invited RESCOP EU to join us. And RESCOP is a federation of 1,500 cooperatives. Cooperative is probably the most natural way of organizing communities, which will which is also necessary in the context of the new regulation. So with collaboration with RESCOP, I think we have beautiful access to other communities and to spread the word about community-based virtual power plants. We have also, in this capitalization, we stopped collaborating with a couple of partners, and we have excluded all sub-partners and associated partners. So in terms of what we expect after the capitalization, we had already cVPPs set up, but we are now scale them up. We work on so that they get more critical mass. We are also preparing another 6 communities for the deployment of community-based virtual power plant, and we are also we will also deliver an upgraded More Model. More Model is an online tool that is accessible for everyone who is interested in setting up cVPP. Now, in terms of tips, I think I have 2. One is that what was very important for us was that what we are doing is really timely, and it's also novel. Interreg has made it possible for us to simply do it. And second point is smart partnership. I think working with people who know what they are doing and that they just do their job makes things much easier, especially for the project leader. And all our efforts have been recognized in June because we have, I think I can say this, we have won a Citizens Award at the EU Sustainable Energy Award. So this is from me. Over to you, Perrine.
Thank you very much, Anna, for the presentation. And absolutely, you should be proud that your project has won this award and that you build up your capitalization initiative on a successful project. We are going to take some more questions. If you have some for our speakers, for Anna and Steph, please do send them. I'm going to start with a question from Paul McCormack, which would be more for either Carolina or Alexandre. And I'm going to read it now. Can projects collaborate and support 2 capitalization call projects, i.e. share projects in order to maximize impact? Maybe Alexandre, do you want to say a few words about this question?
Thank you, Perrine. If I understand well, the question is can projects merge? Can 2 projects merge and create some activities together? So if that's the question, yes, actually they can merge, but we need to remain in line with what we were talking, what we described in our presentation with Caroline, meaning that still the project will have to be based on one of the 2 projects. You can involve the partnership of the other in the existing project, but still the lead partner will have to be the lead partner of one of the 2 projects. It will have to be in the priority of one of the 2 projects, etc. But then, yeah, definitely. And I would even say that it is encouraged to a certain extent. I mean, through this capitalization call to have 2 projects put their forces together and intensify collaboration through a new activity.
Thank you, Alexandre, for this. There's a very specific question to cVPP, but it's more about your project, Anna. So I'll forward this via email, so you can give an answer after the event. A question on budget from Abdel. What is the maximum budget to be accepted for a capitalization initiative? Caroline, maybe a few words again on the budget.
Yes, of course. There's a maximum envelope for all the capitalization initiatives that will be approved, but there's no limit except this limit for your own budget. You just have to demonstrate that the budget you need will be coherent to reach your results and it's good value for money. So there's no budget limit, just write your activities, put your partners around the table, put your timeline, look at the results you want to achieve and ask yourself, is it all coherent with what the money we will have to achieve what we want?
Okay, thank you very much, Caroline. We have a question from Katerina. What should the CAP project, when should the CAP project start if the existing project is still running? Alexandre, a few words on start date again, thanks.
It can start immediately as soon as it is approved. The monitoring committee will meet in March next year to decide on the call for capitalization. So it can start immediately afterwards. It can also start a little bit later if you wish, taking into account the fact that whatever happens, your project will have to close by the end of 2023.
Okay, thank you very much, Alexandre. While I'm getting more questions, I would like to say again that the webinar is being recorded. We are sorry for those of you who encountered issue to connect, and we will make sure to send the link so you can access the video and you can watch the event whenever you wish. Okay, so we have another question. Is there going to be a matchmaking event online to meet and exchange with other projects that are willing to apply for this call, as there was for the first call for capitalization, so at the end of last year? And this is a question that was asked in the registration form. From Elodie and David. So maybe Alexandre, again, yeah. if you want to answer this.
Yes. Well, actually, you could have answered this one, Perrine, because you know, as me, that we were planning to have a similar event as the one we organized last year in Tourcoing, NWE Making an Impact, a second event of the same kind, really focused on showcasing the results of all projects, giving the possibility for projects to network, and also presenting in this framework the call for capitalization. Obviously, with the COVID situation, we had to delay again this physical event until we finally had to decide to cancel it for now and replace it by other types of initiative, starting with this webinar. So a matchmaking event as such is not planned. However, we have some other possibilities. The first one being the LinkedIn group that Caroline mentioned and that Perrine will also say a word about in conclusion, where you can, of course, register and where you can present your idea, do some partner search. So potentially if you seek a partner, you can ask in that group what type of partner you are looking for. And beyond that, I would say that the best way also to do some matchmaking is to get in contact with your contact points that are all connected to each other. And if you're looking for a specific partner, they can certainly help to put you in contact with someone relevant.
Thank you very much, Alexandre. Another question from Joanne. which was also sent to us via the registration form. And the question is the following for Caroline. Can areas outside of Northwest Europe regions be involved? Caroline,
Yes, they can be partner outside of the Northwest Europe region that can be included in the partnership. You have to explain why you need a partner outside the Northwest Europe region, because it's specific. They have a specific knowledge that you will not find on the Northwest Europe area, for instance. But just keep in mind that each partners in your partnership should be fully explained, and their added value and their contribution to the objectives are clear for everyone. This is the most important thing.
Thank you, Caroline. Another question that was also in the registration forms on the partnership still. Does it have to be identical to the existing project partnership for the capitalization initiative? That was a question that Chris, Leah, and Victor had all asked. Maybe Alexandre, a few words again on the partnership and how to make it relevant.
I think the presentations from Anna and Steph were revealing in that sense that you can modify the partnership, involve some new partners depending on the objectives that you set for your capitalization initiative. So yes, definitely new partners can be involved.
Okay. Well, I think we are going to stop.
Sorry, Perrine. Oh, sorry. No, I was just going to say about the new partners that perhaps Anna and Steph can explain how they got these new partners involved in their consortiums for the CAP initiative.
Okay, so from our side, we have been already working with ECHO. We were in touch with RESCOP, but specifically what we have done, we have gone through all the Interreg projects, also in collaboration with our project officer. We got some input, which ones are interesting, aligning with us, and we have systematically gone through it against the idea of what we want in the second stage. So that was a very useful exercise. I would also like to say that in terms of budget, because I understand where all these questions are coming from, I was myself in the same situation. We have sat at the table just like it's being advised, and we have thought, okay, what do we want? And more than what is it that's possible? And from there, we defined the idea, we have defined the activities, and we have also defined a minimum. So if a minimum for every partner in terms of what is it that we can do for the given funds. And that provided a very solid foundation for what we are doing now. And we are also comfortable with the budget that we have, that we can simply deliver.
Maybe Steph, do you want to
for the UV robot? Okay, for the UV robot project, we already found in the initial project that we missed some partners in the Netherlands, because of the Netherlands is such an important area for horticultural production. And I'm working at the research center of Hoogstraat. We are concentrating on strawberry and tomato crops, and we already had some contacts in the Netherlands. So we started from this contact, and then, like Anna already said, we first we did in the same way like Anna. We first described the activities that we would that we want to do in the extra work package, and afterwards we calculated the costs of doing these activities. So first focus on the activities you want to do, and afterwards make the budgets for these activities.
Okay, thank you very much. Thanks a lot to the four of you. We are now going to go into the conclusion, but before I do this, I would like to ask you the same question I had at the beginning of this event to see if there has been any change of heart after the very useful presentation that Alexandre, Caroline, Steph, and Anna gave you. And if we managed to answer your questions, thanks again to our moderator for doing a great job on the back office of this event. So the question is showing up again in the poll tab. This is the same as before. Do you intend to apply for the call for capitalization, take part in a capitalization initiative proposal? Yes, no, or unsure. If you can vote now, and then we can compare with the results from the first poll. I will leave you a few seconds. I have to vote no because otherwise I don't see this showing up. So there might be that everyone is actually either towards the yes or the unsure. Okay, so this is quite balanced. We have, okay, I'm going to stop here. We have 52% of yes and 42% of unsure. So this means that what I'm going to say afterwards is going to be useful for you because I'm going to tell you where you can get support to complement all the answers that we have been giving you this morning. So a reminder on where to get support as you will be working on your capitalization initiative proposal, or if you are considering applying for this call. The first thing you should do is check our website, nweurope.eu, and we have a dedicated page for this call that is showing up now on your screen. Everything is explained, everything our speakers have went through this morning, including at the end that you will see the reference document. So please have a good look at everything to see if you're eligible for the call. Another thing that's important is that if you are looking for partners, if you want to share your ideas, or if you want to network with peers, you can join the LinkedIn group we have created. As Alexandre was saying, we cannot hold any physical event this year, unfortunately. So no physical networking, but this LinkedIn group is really aimed for you to exchange and to share your ideas and potentially find partners for your capitalization initiative proposal. So join the group, be active on the group. We will send again the link right after this webinar, and so you can share your ideas there. Last but not least, that's something that all speakers have insisted a lot on this morning, and this is the contact points. They are here to help you build your application. You see them all here on your screen. They're there to answer your questions and your doubts. So please do get in touch with them, as they are best placed to answer any questions you might have on this call. The deadline by which to send your application, this is 29 January 2021. Important to remember. Thank you everyone for attending. Sorry again if you had any issue to access the event. And if you joined late, please be sure that you will have the beginning of the webinar and all the events sent to you, so you can rewatch it if you want. Have a nice day, everyone, and take care. Thanks for being there today.